from. My name is Nirupama, and I am your host for today for this round of Sambhav Talks. And in this Sambhav Talks, we are going to talk about your mindset. One of my mentors, Tony Robbins, says that success is 80% mindset and 20% skill set. And today we are going to be talking about this mindset equation. And today with me, I have some amazing panelists who are joining us from different parts of the country. So let me welcome them out here as we start this Sambhav Talks. So let me have some of the panelists, and as I'm calling these panelists, I would want you to let me know which part of the country are you logging in from, so that we can have some good fun. Awesome. So hi Ankita, hi Heena, hi Maria. How are you guys doing?
Amazing, amazing. Thanks, Nirupama. Thanks,
Hi
everyone.
Nirupama, wonderful. Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thanks, Nirupama, for having us. I am wonderful. Thank you.
Awesome. I'm so happy that we are starting this round of Sambhav talks with so much of wonder, with so much of joy, with so much of excitement. Loving that part. So, every time we start these Sambhav talks, we do something nice and amazing. So, right now, I would want some of you to really welcome the audience. And Ankita, how would you want to welcome the audience?
So I love singing, and I think just want to have I think 4 lines from a beautiful song, and I think
Okay.
this would really boost our session today, and definitely put some light of positivity in everyone.
Yeah.
So starting with the song,
Yes. Yes, please. Let's go.
yeah. Thank you. आशा ही आशा ही आशा ही कुछ पाने की हो आस आस कोई दरिया हो जो खास खास आशाएं हर कोशिश में हो बार बार कर दरियाओं को आर पार आशाएं तूफानों को चीर के मंजिलों को छीन ले आशाएं खिले दिल की उम्मीदें हंसे दिल की अब मुश्किल नहीं कुछ भी नहीं कुछ भी
Awesome.
आशाएं खिले दिल की उम्मीदें हंसे दिल की अब मुश्किल नहीं कुछ भी नहीं कुछ भी थैंक यू सो मच
This is wonderful. This is beautiful. What a beautiful start to this afternoon, this morning. And I'm totally loving this part. So, I would want, all of you to please let us know that which part of the country are you logging in from, so that, we can welcome you. We can really bring the maximum value for all of you out there. So, as we move ahead, I'm going to be talking about two panels today. In these panels, we are going to be talking about emotional mindset and business mindset. So let's begin with the panel on business mindset first, so that we can ensure that we can give enough value to everyone out there. So I would let the first panel roll out some great insights for all of us. But before we do that, let's have your introductions. Ankita, if you could talk a little bit about yourself.
yes certainly
Yes.
so hi everyone. I'm Ankita Vasudev, career and transition coach. So previously, when I got in here, my career started with as an HR. So I worked with various companies as HR business partner. So
Right.
one thing I always noticed while I was working, because as an HR, you get to meet a lot of people from different backgrounds, different personalities. And I think one thing which I found very common and which was very intriguing in me was,
Right.
one question was, people and, they study or they get degree in some field, and then they
Mm-hmm.
work in some field, and then they want to do something else in future,
Right.
especially with millennials coming in. So I think they just hop in every year or every 2 to 3 years. They want to just look ahead of the herd, what the people are doing, what their friends are doing, and then just hope on, and then just they are really not clear what they really want to do in future.
Right.
So this thing of intriguing me, and this question was always triggering me. So why not helping people redesign their legacy career, right?
Wow.
It's just not designing, it's basically redesigning, because we're thinking something else, we're doing something else, but then our heart says something else. So we are not really listening to what our inner voice is saying. So I
Lovely.
help individuals basically to redesign their legacy career. People looking for job change, career change, are having some transition in their life and career,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So I help with them, and so this will definitely help people to have a more fulfilled life, and at the end of the
Right.
day, there are no regrets, right?
Lovely.
So this is what
Lovely.
I do, and this is what I
And
just.
absolutely, we don't want to live with any regrets as we are moving ahead in life. So, Ankita, since we are talking about redesigning your career, and you spoke about this part of legacy career,
Yeah, yeah.
so coming out of your existing career and moving into a new space, that's like coming out of your comfort zone. And coming out of comfort zone could be intimidating. So, could you
Yes.
provide some guidance or some strategies for entrepreneurs how to push themselves out of comfort zones? Because there's always this fear of failure and the fear of the unknown, that
Yeah.
keeps getting in our head.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. So I think when we speak about people coming out of the comfort zone, it's basically coming out of your cocoon, right? So while you're working as an employee, or maybe you are just a homemaker, or you're just starting something new, so it's always for an entrepreneurship. Basically, every day is a challenge, and every day you have to take those small baby steps and take those risks to get overcome those fear and overcome those challenges. So it's more of a business mindset. It is more of a belief mindset, I believe, right? So you have to first believe in yourself, so that you have to think that I can do it and I will do it. So coming from that set of mind frame. Second very important thing I believe is, you have to first take yourself seriously. Until then, people around you will take you seriously. So you have to first think that, am I that serious about my job or my business, what I'm doing? Right? Otherwise, how can the people around you will think and will take you seriously? So one example I want to step in here is basically, so when I started off my career as an entrepreneur, so I was just working from home. And basically, for women who are working from home, there's so many things coming up. Sometimes the children coming up, sometimes the husband, the parents. So something or the other is always there, right? So you have to first make up that space for yourself. So even if you're working from home, then there has to be a designated workstation wherein nobody should barge in. There should be a designated time frame, so that for example, if you're working from 12 a.m. to 7 p.m. in the evening, then there should be a time frame that nobody should disturb you in that time frame, right? So second important, very important thing is, if you can switch to a co-working space or working from office, then that's just amazing. That will again boost up your efficiency and definitely help you to manage that time in a more efficient manner. Another thing we have to realize, that as women, we think that we can do everything. Anything which is coming up to us, we think that we just say yes to it, let it be our personal space or our professional space, right? So we have to understand, we think that we are just superwoman, but then yes, we are superwoman, but then we are not robots, we are humans. So we
Right.
have to actually understand that space of, we are humans, and at the end of the day, if you're just saying yes to everything, then your health will be at troll, right?
Right.
So your health will be at troll, and you will be the one who's just suffering for a longer period of time. And this I really learned it from my experiences, because earlier I was the one who just can't say no to anything, but then I
Uh-huh.
learned it with time. And of course my health was just deteriorated day in and day out, but then eventually I just learned it. And this is what I always say, that it's an art of saying no. There's a very
Right.
slight difference between assertiveness and arrogance. It's a very
Right.
slightest of the difference, and there's a very thin line between it. So we have to understand, you shouldn't be very arrogant of what you speak, so that you should be very rude. It should be, you should be very firm and with a logical reasoning.
Beautiful.
That's way, if you say no, so other people will also understand your space, and the importance of your time. And
Wonderful.
another very important and the last aspect which I want to bring to this is art of delegation. Right. So we have to understand things that we can delegate to others. We
Right.
understand as women we can just do everything, right? But
Sure.
we cannot do anything at the same amount of time, right?
Right.
So it's good to delegate. Maybe you can just keep a house help. Maybe you can just ask your husband to contribute in the household chores, or maybe your mother-in-law or anybody,
Right.
right?
It's
So for
okay to
example,
ask.
it's okay to ask. At least first ask. We generally have that hesitance of asking only, and then we
Right.
just think in our mind that whether that person will say no, or if that person will feel bad, how will the person react, and there's so many things which is coming up in our mind, right?
Sure.
It's okay to first ask. You never know what the response would be from the other end, right?
Lovely.
I
Lovely.
initially I used to think to ask to my mother-in-law whether she'll be able to help me or not, but then yes, she come with a welcome hand, and then I'm enjoying that space, right? And then you
Lovely.
make a good bond with your family, and of course with your workspace also.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I'm loving it.
Yeah. And I think the last aspect which you speak about, the fear of failure, I think it's very important to prioritize our task, right? It's really very important. Many people will say about it, prioritization, but I think it's very, very hard to follow it in reality.
Right.
I'm hope yeah, I'm just correct, right? It's very
Yes.
hard to follow this, right? So it's very important. So when we think about prioritization, it's not just that we make a to-do list and then just we follow that and just make a tick mark to what all things we're doing.
Sure.
To make sure that whatever prioritization we're doing, we have to make it as important, less important, more important, can be delayed or not eventually.
Lovely. Lovely.
One thing, when I got married, my husband initially told me one thing very, which I really follow it now. It's take and do as much of the task that you can continue to do,
Okay.
not something that you just say yes to the thing,
Yes.
initially able to do it, and then you just stop doing it,
And you
right?
don't have the bandwidth for that at all. And you're like, how do I do that now?
Exactly. So eventually, initially you make that reputation of yours, that frame of yours, and then with time when you're not able to do it, and then you say deny doing it, and then there's a different mindset from the people about you, right?
Lovely.
Earlier she was able to do it, but now she's not doing it, right?
Yes.
So we have
Yes.
to understand that space, and of course just try to take only those things that you think that is capable in your bandwidth,
Lovely.
so that you
Lovely.
don't overdo it, and of course
Right.
don't take that toll on your health, which is again very, very important, and
Yeah.
communicate very clearly and very aptly, right? I
Lovely.
think with these things, and especially with women who are working from home, I think communication plays a very, very important role. You
Lovely.
have to communicate. If something is getting delayed, you have to communicate very efficiently, like why you got delayed, what was the thing that came up, and with logical answers. And of course the other person will definitely understand that space of yours, right?
Yes.
We are, again I'm saying, like, we are just humans, we are not robots, right? We are
Ah.
superhumans, but we are not at all robots, right? So say no, right? And take time to respond.
Lovely.
Even if, right, many a time it happens that something is coming up and we are not sure whether we'll be able to do it or not, then rather
Right.
than saying yes to the thing, just take time to respond. When you delay
Beautiful.
that time to respond, then you will understand whether I'll be able to do it or not, right? So
Lovely.
rather than just giving that answer abruptly yes or no, just take that time to respond, so that
Beautiful.
you can also think logically whether I'm just able to do it or not. And lastly,
Ah.
I follow the last thing is, 4 Ds to develop
Uh-huh.
a system. A system needs to be
Okay.
developed. So that 4 Ds are: first, do it, right?
Okay.
Do it. Defer it, which is if you can delay it, then defer it. Third is delegate it. If you can delegate it, ask for help, always do so. And last is drop it. If it's not that important, then just drop it. Then your sort of prioritization, you'll be able to manage it efficiently and effectively.
What a lovely piece of information. The 4 Ds, talking about assertive communication, asking for help, and then, really saying no wherever you can. And it's okay to say no. And a lot of times as women, we are like, सामने वाला क्या सोचेगा? If we say no to certain things. Ankita, in the next part when we meet, I would also want to know, like at one point you spoke about working from home, and at another point you spoke about, going and working in a work cafe or having an office of your own. So in the next part, I would also want to know from you, how has been your experience, working at two places, and at the same time, uh, if you could talk about some, if certain things to bring more effectiveness, and for all of that, guys, you will have to stay tuned because lots more is coming up. We are going to be talking about how to manage your emotions. We're going to be talking about how to be more productive as you go. So let me just welcome some of the people who have joined us. There's Supriya Reddy who has joined us from Bangalore. So good to have you, Supriya. Darshana has joined us from Budapest. So good to have you, Darshana. Shruti has joined us from Chennai. So good to have you, Shruti. Shwalila has joined us from Malaysia. We are so delighted to have you, Shwalila. Uh, as Shwalila says, we always assume and presume. That's absolutely correct. We are most of the time assuming and presuming. Kirti Kakade says, wonderful, effective, clear communication builds your confidence and respect. Absolutely. I love the word of respect, that you have mentioned out here. Kavita Vikas has joined us from Chhattisgarh. So good to have you, Kavita. We are really delighted. So now let me move to the next panelist. Hina, we would want to know a little bit about you. Before we actually dive into the question and answers, if you can introduce yourself. Yes, Hina, over to you. Hina, you're muted. We can't hear you. Yes. No, we cannot. We cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Lovely.
Yeah. Hi, good afternoon, all the lovely ladies out here. This is Heena Khurana Nagpal, a posh expert, a posh trainer. I help the organization in providing a safe workplace for their employees via providing them posh training session and taking care of their posh compliances.
Right.
So I have been in experience for almost a decade now in this area of posh, and by profession I am from FCS and a lawyer. So this is the
Lovely.
basic introduction about me. Yeah.
Lovely.
Uh,
Lovely. So Hina, before we move ahead with you, I have a question for the audience out there. Now you have heard from Ankita and we'll be asking a few questions from Hina. I would want to know from you that which way of working do you prefer? Do you like working from home like me? Like I'm a person who loves working from home. Or do you like working from office like Ankita? And she says, I get better productivity, because there's nobody to disturb me. And also tell us your reasons. Why do you like working from home and why do you like working from office? Because I want to roll out a contest here. The people who are participating with us till the very end, we will be rolling out some special prizes to them. So please make sure you let us know where do you like working the most. Not working out, but your day-to-day work. Yes, Hina. So we start with you, and my question to you, the first question is that how can employees wanting to become entrepreneurs harness the power of an entrepreneurial mindset? Because आज का हमारा topic है change your mindset for entrepreneurial success, so that they get more innovation and success. So आप कुछ ऐसे specific skills के बारे में बता सकते हैं that would really help people who are wanting to get into entrepreneurship, or the people who are early stage entrepreneurs, they can develop to have an entrepreneurial mindset for success, innovation, and that would drive them forward.
So, Nirupama, first of all, I would like to say to the audience, entrepreneurship is not something that is taught in the classroom.
Yes.
It's a game which is played in the field.
Right.
So, yeah. So, I think being an entrepreneur, there are so many things that we need to keep in mind before being an entrepreneur, even the most important thing, it is not that you are quitting your job and you're just jumping into the
Right.
entrepreneurship.
Right.
That mind framework automatically being developed ago. It
Right.
has been developed maybe a year ago when you are planning to get into the entrepreneurship, but still you are into job. So that mind framework is something which is very important. And for that, I think there are certain skills like I would like to mention, and I want the audience to understand
And also
that
note it down.
when, and also note it down. Yes, definitely note it down. Like when, even when you are an employee but you are looking to be an employer, maybe another 2 years down the line, as this is your goal, be an entrepreneur in one area. So there should not be any reminder. You cannot expect that, the first point is that the skill that you need to develop, don't expect that you will get any reminder for anything to do.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do the things on your own. There should not be any remind, because the mind of an employer needs to be developed even when you are an employee,
Right.
while working as an employee, because
Right.
that goal will, you will only achieve that goal when you are with that mind frame. So the first point is there should not be any reminder. You have to do the things on your own without getting any reminders. And the second thing that I would say, you cannot excuse for anything.
Right.
There are no excuses. For example, if I have to join a meeting, I have to join a meeting. I cannot say, there is a no internet connection is there, and I may not have sufficient lighting, or the electricity issue is there, or I have kids to handle, or the family to take care of.
Right.
So the excuses, when we are looking to be an entrepreneur, we have to get out of those excuses. So second point I would like to highlight is, there cannot be any excuses for anything.
Mm-hmm.
If you have the goal, you have to work for it, you have to
Right.
find out the ways for it. And I think as a woman, we all are, always being the multitaskers. We manage the work, we manage the household things, and husband, family, kids, everything.
Right.
So I think yes, we are always a multitasker, and we cannot make excuses at least.
Of course.
So yeah, the third point I would like to mention is, you cannot complain for anything.
Mm-hmm.
Complaints are not acceptable if you are going to be an entrepreneur, and if you look forward to be a woman entrepreneur.
Right.
So the complaints is something, you cannot complain. You have to find out the ways to do the things.
Right.
Of course, do what is expected, and even I would say do extra in achieving your goal.
Mm-hmm.
Take more initiatives.
Mm-hmm.
Fourth point is take more initiative than what is expected from your maybe employer, or maybe any other person, because then only then you are showing the person your capabilities, which are your extra capabilities or your hidden capabilities, which the person doesn't know.
Right.
If you have been appointed for a specific job, and if you are doing something extra, only then you'll be able to communicate by your actions to the person that yes, boss, I have this extra capability also, so I am capable enough to be an entrepreneur maybe another 1 year down the line.
Lovely.
So the fourth point I would like to say, take more initiatives,
Mm-hmm.
of course. And the next point is, do more, talk less.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be a woman, as a woman entrepreneur. You have to be like, if you are saying, or if you are committing to something, do that commitment, fulfill that commitment on time, and even I would say do something extra.
Mm-hmm.
That would always help you. If you are doing something extra, that would also give an insight to the other person, of course, through your actions, that yes, you have that capability of being a entrepreneur. So, these things give you more opportunities in your workplace also, as well as your, maybe if you're working from home, or if you're at home also. It is not only, you are telling your employer by your actions. In family also, you are, by your making your family members also aware that yes, you are not only a housewife or the person who is taking care of the household things or family matters. You are capable enough to go out of the house and be a woman entrepreneur. So I think that is
Wonderful.
also important. And
Lovely.
yes, one more point is under promise and over deliver, which is very, very important. If you are promising something, the way I said, do more, talk less, under promise but deliver more than what is expected to you.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I think these are the points which, as a woman entrepreneur, you need to take into account. Plus, we always see now on Instagram also, and also other social media, that everyone is focusing on giving this to their kids also. Make a schedule, make a to-do list. What is important as a woman entrepreneur, being the multitasker, taking care of everything, make the time management. Time management is something which is very, very important. You have
Sure.
to manage your time. I know every woman has those 20, everyone has those 24 hours, and especially for the women, I would say we have to do n number of things in those 24 hours. So
Right.
take care of your health, make prioritize, your health, your workplace, the one step that you will be taking today that will take you to reach your goal maybe after 1 year, to be a woman entrepreneur in the particular area that you want to go. So I think
Lovely.
time management is also something which is very, very important. Plus, don't give an impression to other person like, if you have started anything and you left in between due to xyz reason, finish whatever you start. It's very, very important, because you are leaving an impact on the other person if you left anything behind in between. That it gives a different belief system to the other person, that yes, she is capable enough to take an assignment and handle it well. Only then the other person will give you one step other assignment, and you keep every day, you keep reaching to the next step to achieve your goals. Of course, for example, we always say ki, I am going to the gym every day, but nothing is happening. Every day I'm going to the gym for 1 hour, for 2 hour, or whatever. Keep doing that. One day you will see the result. So
Lovely.
whatever is started, you have to finish it up. And as a posh expert, if I say consistency is the key. If I check myself after 4 year or 5 year before, I was not that much if I say about LinkedIn or maybe on social media, I was not that much active. And I know when maybe the day I started posting on LinkedIn or maybe other social media, there might be n number of people who have started,
Right.
n number of people who have started making videos on YouTube the day I started. But the only difference that made me far better than them today is the consistency. So I
Lovely.
think
Lovely.
consistency is something which is the key. You have to maintain that consistent. It is not like, if you want to grow your business through LinkedIn or maybe other social medias as a woman entrepreneur. So okay, I'll start doing posting once in a week or maybe
Yes.
a twice. You have to be consistent enough, and the
Lovely. Lovely.
results we'll see over a period of time. So I think these are the points. As a woman entrepreneur, you need to carry on, you need to take forward. And the last I would say, if mistakes are happening, that's a good thing. Take it as a, that yes, mistakes are a proof, like, you are trying, you are going one step ahead to reach your goal, to be a woman entrepreneur. So this is all
Beautiful.
I have to say, and
I'm
I would
loving it.
love
There's
to have, yeah.
nobody who's going to remind you. There is something, whatever you commit, you got to deliver. Come what may, whatever happens. These are very basic points, I think, but they go a long way for your success. They go a long way in ensuring that people understand the purpose with which you are doing the thing. So I am really loving the part, that you have mentioned, and I'm going to bring some of the things that people have mentioned. Let's look at what Supriya has to say. Supriya says, instead of taking everything on your head, it's good to delegate the work. In that way, one can be tension free and eventually the work will get completed on time. Let's talk about Shwalila. Shwalila says, I prefer work from home as I can balance my work and my home kiosk. I feel more flexible as I manage my time with work and my home. So I prefer working from home. Okay, there's another thing that is coming from Darshana. Darshana says, I would prefer a hybrid model which gives me flexibility to fulfill the responsibility at home and also at office. That's wonderful. So people, I would want to know from you, now that we have gotten so many nuggets from Heena and she has given you those important skills to master, when it comes to entrepreneurial mindset, what according to you is a very important ingredient for entrepreneur mindset? I would just want to say that again. What according to you is an important ingredient for entrepreneurial mindset? Please let us know, because we want to know from you also, what is it that you feel it's important for an entrepreneur to develop as they are moving ahead in their journey. So now let me call the second panel. I would want to really bring some insights on the emotional mindset part. Let's have them here. But before they join us, I would want to know from the first panel, What do you think, the second panel is going to bring now that you have given so much of value? So, first panel, what are your words for the second panel? If in one single word you can just say.
I
I
think,
think,
yeah,
yeah,
please,
please, Heena.
please go. So I think it is not only the steps or the nuggets that you are taking from us. It is also the emotional balance that you need to maintain for the growth for being a women
Uh-huh.
entrepreneur. So I think the second panel is going to help us out in how to balance our mind framework emotionally for being an entrepreneur.
Beautiful.
Right, and having the right frame of mind is really very important for any journey towards your career, for entrepreneur, or for whatever you're doing in your life. Right, so having the right frame of mind and able to balance your emotions, so it's really very important. So yes.
Amazing, amazing. We are looking forward to all the amazing nuggets on the emotional well being from the second panel. So, let me just have Maria on the screen. Maria, if you could talk a little bit about yourself before we actually start asking you the questions.
Yes, thank you so much, Nirupama, for a very warm welcome. And I am delighted by the amazing insights that my fellow panelists have provided. So, yeah, so about me, I am a career empowerment coach and I'm also an NLP practitioner. So I have having trained more than 5,000 professionals till date and
Wow.
having spent more than a decade in my corporate career into different verticals, most of it going to be in training. Most of it was into training. So I have, all through my career, like all through my life, I had have this habit of observing people.
Right,
Who are the like why are people good at something, what they are doing, why are they good, what makes them different? And
right.
when I, the more I think about it, the more I talk to people, I've come to realize that the most important part, the most important thing about somebody is their mindset.
Okay.
And as my previous panelists also said, it's a mindset game, it's a game of mindset, right? So how to have that, how to develop that mindset? See, some people are gifted with it, some people develop it over a period of time, but
Right,
some people are yet to develop their, mindset in a way that is aligned to their goals. So
right.
how to make sure the people have that mindset. I have learned a lot of techniques, I've done a lot of courses, and I've coached and mentored a lot of people from the corporate. And then I feel that, if I'm able to gift somebody a good mindset, it is something very, very good. And it's a very beautiful gift that should be shared with the maximum number of people.
Beautiful.
So yeah, I think mindset is a gift. It just takes sometimes a moment to make that mindset shift, and that is what I have been doing with the corporate professionals. So I've been, training them, helping them overcome their workplace challenges, making sure they live a life that is aligned to, their purpose.
Lovely. So now that you've been talking about mindset and you have worked with 5,000 people, more than 5,000 people, and helping them transform, whenever we are looking at starting an entrepreneurial journey, sometimes we face a lot of criticism. And this criticism is something you may get from your own family, you may get from your friends and colleagues. And a lot of times, we have the skills, we also have the basic mindset, but we don't know how to handle this sort of a criticism. So today I would want to know from you, could you talk about some of the strategies so that a person can have emotional resilience? Like, as I see in the chat, Kavita has written that emotional intelligence is something very important. So I would want to know from you, and let's start with this note only, that how can we deal with criticism and how can we have that emotional resilience, that we can handle whatever comments come around us.
That's a wonderful question, and one of the most valid questions while we, encounter entrepreneurship. So I would compare entrepreneurship to a very beautiful ship that is sailing in the waters,
Yeah.
and a entrepreneur is the captain of the ship, who
Right.
is navigating all the seasons. So some seasons, sometimes it's very very pleasant and the sea is calm and okay, but sometimes it is like there are storms and there are so many things that come with it. But the job of the entrepreneur or the captain of the ship, I would say here, is to keep moving, keep checking what is the direction that they should be taking, making sure whether the direction that they are taking uh, is the right one, right? Sometimes it could also be pivoting to a different direction. So if
Right.
somebody is going in a certain direction and they are not getting results for a very very long time, then
Right.
what is missing? So how to also pivot to a different direction, that could also be a way of looking at it. So as
Right.
for me, the most important thing that an entrepreneur should have is a growth mindset. When I say
Right.
growth mindset, means being very very open to feedback. I mean, we should
Okay.
not be waiting for others to tell us, okay, this is not right or this is not right. So if you have a lot of confidence in your product, you're very sure about what you're doing, then what we have to do in that case, deliver your product, but ask for feedback.
Okay.
And whenever feedback is given to us, take it in a positive manner. Do not think, okay, it's a personal attack on me. Do not
Not
take
to take it personally,
do not take it
essentially.
personally. It is not for you, it is just for the work you are doing. And sometimes, like many a times, the feedback is constructive. It
Yeah.
helps us to move us in the right direction. Be okay in taking help from others, be it your family members, be it somebody else other than your family members. It could be also like, as an entrepreneur, there are different types of tasks that we have to do, right? And many a times when we are starting in the entrepreneurship journey, we want to minimize on the costing part also. And
Right.
sometimes, I've seen entrepreneurs, they think, okay, everything we should do ourselves,
Ah, I know.
right? So understanding which tasks are my forte and which are not my forte, which tasks I can delegate and which tasks I can do myself,
Right.
which are the tasks where I should hire someone. Like if someone wants to hire a graphic designer for making a website, why not why not them do it rather than doing it themselves? Like, it's okay. And whenever you make an investment on your business, you always think about it like a CEO. So how does a
Right.
CEO think? So there is something called as a big picture. How whatever decisions I'm going to take right now, how is it going to help me in the longer term? Is it beneficial for me in the longer term? Then the answer should be yes. But if some decisions are going to help me in the short term, like, is it beneficial? Is it worth my is it worth the cost? Is it going to help me in the short term or long term? So we are
Right.
so whenever you are in a when we are working in a corporate, many a times we are thinking like employees, we are not thinking like
Right.
entrepreneurs.
Right.
Seeing things in a bigger picture, having a bird's eye view and thinking, okay, is this decision going to have an impact uh, 5 years down the line or no? Yeah, so I think big picture is what we should go with. But yes, whenever it comes to smaller decisions, a small picture is also okay. But then most of the decisions you should think, okay, is it going to
Long term.
impact the longer term or not? Yeah, and then being open to feedback, taking help from your peers, seeing which things can be outsourced, which cannot be outsourced. And one of the most important things, as I said, taking feedback. One of the most important learnings for a entrepreneur are that they should listen more than they are speaking.
Right.
So if you have come up with a product, ask your customers, how are they
Right.
liking the product?
Right.
How is the customer experience? If the customer experience is not at par, I think that is something where they need to work on. So take that as a feedback, take that as a learning, and improvise your products
Beautiful.
and focus on the
Beautiful.
customer experience, right? So that
Loving
is
it.
a thought that I would want everyone to take away with them. And then building an emotional resilience. So there will be people who will criticize you. There will be people who are with you. There will be people who are not with you. There will be people who will not trust you sometimes. It could be some. of your family members also sometimes. But then
Right.
you have to take what is the positive thing I can take from it. You have to understand what is that one positive thing that I can take from it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that would be the way to go in my opinion and from my experience. That's what I would want to share with the audience.
I love it. I think, you've broken down this thing starting from the growth mindset to the point of taking feedback. And, sometimes we are just doing stuff on our own and we don't want to ask people, ये मैंने सही किया है या नहीं किया है. And we don't realize that there is so much of gold coming from the other side when somebody is actually telling you this is something that you can improve. And we just want to do everything on our own. So I am just totally loving this conversation. So let me call upon the next panelist. Pallavi, we are so good to have you here. Pallavi, can you hear us?
Hi, Nirupma. Yes, I can hear you. Yeah.
Awesome. So Pallavi, we would, before we move ahead, we want to know a little bit about you, and we would want to then ask you the amazing value that you've brought for the audience out here.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nirupma. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. And thank you so much for being here. This is a wonderful, discussion going on. So I'm Pallavi Sharma. I'm a soft skills trainer, growth mindset coach, and an intrinsic life skills writer. So regarding the emotional mindset that we are discussing today,
Yes.
am I clear?
Yes.
My audio is clear?
Yes, yes. In fact, this is something we were discussing with sorry, Maria. We were discussing with Maria, and Maria left us with emotional resilience part. And now we would want to know a little bit from you that how do we discipline ourselves, when it comes to the emotional balance, and how do we manage our emotions, because a lot of times we are told that ye skill seekh lo, wo skill seekh lo, but it is most of the times about regulating your emotions. So we would want to know from you that how do we do that.
Yeah, sure. So before hopping on to the details, I apologize before everyone. There is a visual frozen. My video is frozen here, but here comes the role of mindset
Yes.
that really sparked in me. That
Uh-huh.
whatever are the circumstances, whatever is the situation, you have to do means you have to do, and you have to have that energy. And I'm getting a
Absolutely.
very vibrant energy from my audience, from everyone around, from the panelists, from Nirupma. So I'm so happy to be here. So yes, when you start anything new, you start with a new you. Your
Right.
energy is new goals are there,
Mm-hmm.
and for it you are into a new routine, altogether a different atmosphere environment.
Right.
Now, what is that one big difference when you actually set your goals before you?
Right.
The only difference is that now you have started prioritizing yourself.
Right.
And as a woman, really, this is not easy. This is really tedious, really taxing.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because it's not necessary everybody is going to stop you physically or emotionally, but it's more about that you are adapting to a new environment,
Right.
and you are developing a habit, a pattern of thought that yes, now I have to do this before everyone gets up. Now I
Right.
have to complete this goal before I get busy in my routine chore.
Right.
So the whole process is actually going to be a little challenging because there is
Mm-hmm.
a new mechanism. But
Okay.
adaptation is the key to survival. If you
Okay.
take anything like in nature, adaptation is the soul of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And adaptation is a gradual process. It can't be leveraged. It can't be achievable in one day or few months. It
Right.
is the journey that you are going on a daily routine basis.
Right.
And this gradual process of adaptation comes with adoption of certain discipline in your life.
Okay.
Now, what is that one thing that brings a major change and bridges the gap between you and your unlived? Now, why I say unlived, that is, you haven't achieved it, but you are preparing yourself to achieve it.
Yes.
So, the key or remedy, the antidote is the emotional discipline.
Okay.
Emotional discipline is the key.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what you have to do to emotionally discipline yourself on a consistent basis, and uh, like friends, that every entrepreneurial journey, if you look back, if you read biographies, it is all about the emotional management.
Right.
You have resources, you have network, you have everything, but
Mm-hmm.
if you are not ready emotionally to adapt to a new environment, how can you do that?
Right.
So emotional discipline is the key.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have abbreviated it in a compact form in a word. You can note down:
Yes.
create. C
I would want all
R
of you to
E
get the
A.
notes. Yes. Could you say that again? Create.
Yeah,
CREATE. Yes.
sure. Yeah. So the abbreviated form of compact inputs is create. CREATE.
Mm-hmm.
C stands for consistency. You have to be
Okay.
consistent on the day one. Okay, now I
Mm-hmm.
have decided, okay, I have to do, okay, no matter what, electricity cutoff is there, uh, the things are not in shape right now, but now I have the time schedule with me. I have to start this because अगर आप अभी start नहीं करोगे, then it is going to hamper your further schedule also. So the
Right.
first thing is consistency.
Okay.
R is for reinvent yourself, reframe
Mm-hmm.
your skills in a new modulation. Okay,
Okay.
you brush up your skills. Where do you lack? What are your strong skills? What are your weaker sections? Just brush up it,
Mm-hmm.
brush it up. Just polish it with certain chunks of learning from here, there, and now we are in a digital era, so it's not really difficult.
Yes.
The next is E, alphabet E. So it is for energizing yourself with self care tools.
Okay.
Self care tools, you have to have a routine of daily exercise, at least 45 minutes workout, meditation. Like what you earlier used to do, you have to do away the unneeded stuff and you have to
Okay.
adopt to a new environment.
Mm-hmm.
A stands for authentically yourself with essential do's and don'ts.
Okay.
Now, you have to follow certain do's, you have to follow a certain timetable, you have to start saying no to unneeded things, the
Mm-hmm.
situations. You you are getting ready for yourself to be not taken for granted. You have to
Right.
step ahead with conviction. Next
Okay.
is T. T is train yourself to cut off from negative thoughts and energy, as I just mentioned. That
Mm-hmm.
here you have to take conscious efforts.
Mm-hmm.
Conscious efforts have to be taken to do away that part which you earlier used to do. And I tell you, when you start doing that, it's not going to be easy because people are recognizing you from the past identity. But
Right.
now you are stepping into a future or present. Now you are more
Mm-hmm.
present oriented, and
Okay.
make your present powerful, because present contains the building blocks of your future castle.
Right.
So this is all about the present time, and the last alphabet is E. So that E stands for empower yourself with modulation of behavior and habits. Now, when you start doing something, as I just said, you adapt yourself. Now, certain things will come where you have to modulate. If you are a short tempered person, you have to control your anger. If you
Okay.
are a person who gets nervous very soon, you have to practice it. You have to do meditation, and there comes the role of self care and self discipline.
Beautiful, beautiful. Loving it, and love the abbreviation that you gave to all of us. Create. So let me just read what the audience have to say. We're getting such amazing, insights from the audience. Let's look at Kavita. Kavita says emotional intelligence is very important and a powerful tool. According to Elu, she says there are no excuses. Setting aside time for your passion and time management is what she feels is important for an entrepreneur. I'm loving the next part that Kavita has given, which is in terms of the R of power that she is using: meditation, gratitude, practice, affirmation, visualization, and manifestation. This is so powerful, Kavita, that you're already, following. Now let's look at the next part, which Kirti says mindset is our biggest asset. Yes, it is. Mindset is the biggest asset. And Vaishali Nair brings it to us. Emotional discipline is the key. Absolutely agree 100%. This is such a powerful way of putting things. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are moving to the last segment, which is the question and answers part. So I'm going to call all the four panelists out here, and you can ask your questions from the panelists, so that we can get maximum insight for all of your questions. So let me just bring the first question. The first question is, what role does self-care and self-discipline play in bringing a strong emotional mindset for individuals who are embarking on an entrepreneurial journey? Self-care or self-discipline का क्या role है? That's something we're going to talk about. And for this, I would want to call Pallavi. Pallavi, would you want to talk about the importance of self-care and self-discipline?
Yeah, sure, Nirupma. Thank you so much. So, self care and self discipline actually, they are, what should I say? They are the main nectar, you must say, to carry on with your journey successfully. Because you can pour with a cup full of substance, you can't pour with an empty cup,
Empty
right?
cup. Yes.
Yeah. So here comes the role of self-care and self-discipline. These are powerful tools. Now, what does self-care mean? Self-care means taking care of your health, taking care of what you are eating, and
Right.
nurture yourself mentally, physically, emotionally.
Okay.
Okay. Associate yourself with positive bent of mind people. Now, certain things, if somebody is there who is a bit of negative energy and it hampers you, so you have to train your mindset to distant yourself emotionally, because
Right.
you have to train yourself that you need not to be affected by anything, everything. You cannot control the external things, but you can
Of
control
course.
yourself. This is the
Yes.
mindset. And self discipline, yes, self discipline like comes with consistency. As I earlier said, you have to have a time management schedule daily ready, jot down your goals a day before, and follow habits. Now here the comes the role of the self-discipline, and self-discipline is conscious efforts, conscious and mindful efforts to do what you have ideated within yourself.
Sure.
And the third thing is authentic communication. That also comes in the self-discipline, because communication, like it connects your mindset, uh, it connects the mindset and goals. It
Lovely.
connects other people. Now, authentic communication simply means that you have to first like understand yourself. You must be mindful what you are going to say. You must be mindful how you are going to deal with this grimmer situation or predicaments. And
Sure.
self, I would also like to add on the self care. There is a strong point which I missed just now. So I would like to mention that you have to be accountable to yourself.
Accountable to yourself? Did you say
Yeah,
that?
yeah. Because claiming responsibility for your mistakes is actually empowering for yourself. You just आप
Love.
अपने आप देखो, आप अपने बच्चे को अगर गलत बात पे डांट दोगे, and you are wrong, he is or she is right. How would you feel?
Right.
Being an
Right.
elder, if you claim कि okay, I'm elder, it's okay, elder से ऐसे बात नहीं करते, that's okay, बच्चा will be चुप. But will you
Right.
feel happy inside? No.
Right.
But if you just admit it happened with me a day before. I just
Okay.
admitted, "See, I was wrong. I'm sorry. I was in a rush, and it was my mistake." And my daughter asked me, and I really felt happy, and that empowered me to ideate the next schedule with full energy. So
Lovely.
energy we can derive from ours.
Beautiful. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Let's take the next part. We have Vaishali, who has put another question to all of us. Let me just take that question as we move ahead. Vishali says, how do we handle the instant success in your startup? What strategy one can adapt for sustainable growth moving forward? So, I would want Ankita. Uh, sorry, yes, I would want Maria to answer this part. How can we actually ensure that we bring sustainability in our journey?
Okay, thank you so much, Nirupama. And Vishali, that is a very valid question. Like, how do you handle the instant success in your startup? So the thing is, as you know, entrepreneurship, it is not a short-term journey. It is a long-term journey. You know, having success in the initial days does not guarantee that you'll also be successful in the longer term. So just first thing, do not get overwhelmed by a lot of success. If it happens, well and good. If it doesn't happen, just keep moving on. But the first point is, do not get overwhelmed, and then see what is working for you. What are the things that are working for you? Keep doing them more, right? So what is that one factor that is influencing the success, right? To preserve that success, what is driving that success, having an understanding of those factors, and trying to make it sustainable by doing a research on like what is going very well, what is going very well, keep continue doing it. What is not working well, stop doing that. But then just do not let success get into your head that okay, this is here to stay for a longer time. So that is one understanding that I feel should be there. And have being adaptable, like being flexible in your approach. I think that is one more way that can help, because as I said, it is not, entrepreneurship is not a long term game. It is not a short term game, it is a long term game. So being flexible in your approach, right?
Lovely,
So
lovely.
that would help.
Now that you're here, we would also want to ask you another question. What strategies can you help people maintain emotional resilience, through such situations? Let's say a person is not able to handle what's going on in their startup, in their entrepreneurship. So how do we develop that emotional resilience? कहना बहुत आसान है, Maria, but how do we do that?
Yeah, so I feel, as we all discussed in the panel discussion, it's a game of mindset, and having emotional resilience is something very, very important, because people will criticize you, they will question you. So even if you are a startup and you are taking up your project to an investor, they would have so many questions to ask you, right? So whatever, just even if people are not aligning to what is required, so even if there are other people who are saying okay, this is not the right way, so keep taking criticism in a positive way. Take feedback, be open to a lot of feedback, and see what feedback is helping you, because feedback is a gift, I believe that. And it is a gift, and if someone who really cares about you, they would really give you a feedback. So take feedback positively, take criticism also positively, and see what you can do about it, and see what is in my control, what all can I change, I cannot change, and what is valid and what is not valid. There's a question that you should ask. And I feel that each and every one of us have resources. All of us have resources. If one person can do it, another person can also learn how to do it. So have the right network, I would say, have the right role models, follow the right role models. And then
Beautiful.
anything can be modeled. If you want to learn any competency, you want to learn a new skill that will help you in taking your business further, be open to learning, be a lifelong learner, I would say.
Lovely, lovely. I'm loving it. So let's take the next question. Next question is achieving work-life balance can be a significant factor in preventing burnout. How to maintain a healthy balance between work-life balance? Ankita, if you can take up this question.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Nirupama. I think I'm just loving the audience and the energy, the way they are just connecting with this discussion. It's just lovely. So initially we discussed regarding working from home and working from office, what is better, what is not. And I think many of us come up with this system of hybrid working space, right? And working from home gives us that amount of flexibility.
Right.
Completely agree. I think with entrepreneurship itself, gives us that space of working in our own space of time. But then obviously we shouldn't take it for granted. We should obviously take it on a prioritization level. What is important, what is not important, right? So even if you're working from home, so sometimes flexibility to an extent is good, but not to an extent so that it takes some time and some part of your work life, right? So it's to an extent it's definitely good. So even if you're working from home, it is important to have that entire setup wherein you're just working like you're working from your office, right? So
Right.
there should be a designated area wherein nobody should barge in your time when you are working, right? And I think the very simple and it's very important, the factor which I followed it when I started off with my own work is that I started off with a routine which I
Okay.
will follow, and which, day in and day out, unless and until there's certain very very severe emergency. Otherwise I will follow it to an extent which I can, right? So in the morning half, in the morning routine, I give and I always, say to the lovely people and especially women, is take time for your health. It's really very important. So in the morning hours, I take some amount of time for myself. So let you do yoga, exercise, meditate, whatever you're doing. But at least some part of your time you just dedicate for yourself,
Okay.
because with this you will start with a very fresh energy, right? A lot of ideas, a lot of creativity will pop in, right? So
Right.
just follow it and start with that. And then if you're just in your maybe in the mid of your day, if you're just starting your work from like 12 or 11 till 7 or 8, then that time is your work time, and nobody
Right.
should margin or nobody should take that advantage. Okay, ye kar lo, wo kar lo, idhar aa jao, udhar aa jao, make food or something. There could be any end of excuses has just no end, right? So at
Right.
least people should know at your home that okay, this is your time, you're working, and nobody should enter the room, right? And after that, obviously, when it's your family time, when you're dedicating your 2 3 hours in the evening towards the night to your family, then it's your family time, right?
Right.
Then unless and until there is certain which is very very emergency kind of a work which is coming up, otherwise that time is strictly there for your family. So this way
Right.
you're able to manage your work as well as your personal life, right? Initially people will hesitate, people will not like this kind of a routine. Okay, now she's not available now, because as a woman, everybody thinks that okay, she is available every time,
24/7. Yes.
24/7 she's just available for us,
Right.
as a mother, as a wife, as a daughter-in-law, as a daughter, that any role she's just available, even if as an employer or an employer, right? People
Sure.
think that she's just available. And also I think many a time you must have heard from the male of our family, right? We just come with a very hectic schedule and just say aaj to bahut kaam kar liya, I'm just tired so much. But for a
Right.
woman, I think you would have hardly heard from any of the women saying these words. Even if she is tired, then obviously she have to shift her routine now. Okay, now her professional task is over, now she has to shift, so going to the another shift of working for her children or for family, cooking food or anything like that. So
Right.
it's shifting from one shift to another shift, one shift to another shift. So I think it's really important to have that routine and follow that routine, right?
Beautiful.
Maybe the amount of time that may depend, but then that may vary. Sometimes 1 hour late, sometimes 1 hour early, whatever it is. But follow that routine. Sometime for your health, your work, and then your family. So, because
Beautiful.
even if you're not able to follow this, sometimes what happens, and I hear from a lot of people, is it becomes so stressful, right? It
Right.
becomes so strenuous. And at the end of the day, we think like, okay, I'm just not good in anything. So there's that guilt factor which just kills. I think which just, I mean, at least at one point of the time, every woman must have faced it, right?
Right.
There's so much of guilt. When I got married and then I was struggling to balance my work and my family, I used to always complain to my husband. Like, I think I'm not able to give my 100% of the time to anything
Yeah.
whatever I'm doing, right?
Uh-huh.
I'm not able to give that time, right? But eventually, because of that stress, you get to think so many things, that so many
Right.
negative things barge in. There's so many stressful thoughts, there's so many negative thoughts, and that tends to overthinking, right?
Yes. One thought
Because
leads to the other.
yes, one thought leads to the other, leads to the other, and then we just think of the worst thing that's happening,
Yes.
right? And obviously we just forget what all the beautiful journey that's happening right now. We just go
Beautiful.
to the future thinking of the worst thing that's happening, but we just don't live at the present, So just live at the present. Like life is a present. And present is what? It's a gift, right?
Yes.
Present is a gift. So life is a gift. So unfold it as it comes. You don't have to
Lovely.
overthink it in a way that you don't know whether it will happen or not. So
Right.
overthinking. So just take overthinking as clouds. Clouds
Yes.
are what they just come and they just go away. So even
Beautiful.
if you're thinking a lot of things which is coming up to your head, just think and put it as a cloud, and
Uh-huh.
then just think that cloud will just go away,
I am
right?
loving it. Think it
Right.
as a cloud.
Yes. Overthink is always so thinking as a cloud, right? And
Yes.
in life, one thing
Uh-huh.
is just a mantra that there is no failure. Life has just two things. One is success and one is learnings.
Yes.
So your failure is nothing but it's your learning. So learn from it. Whatever thing is happening today, it might be it has come to me because I want to learn something out of it. Right? So
Yes.
things will happen at the right time.
Beautiful.
Right? So
Beautiful.
wait for the right time. So you have to
Lovely.
have that patience. I think in entrepreneurship, I think the first and the very important thing is to have patience,
Uh-huh.
right? When I started off, many a time I used to go back to my husband and telling that, shall I again join back to my work? So
A lot
it's
of times we think that. Yes.
time. I think this question, I think everybody must have faced it at some
Yes.
point of time. Initially, definitely, I would guarantee, right? Shall I
Yes.
go back? Shall I go back?
वो
Is it
आसान था
worth
ना
it? वो
करना.
आसान था. मेरा sacrifice, because now you have sacrificed because that life was easier. You have
Yes.
sacrificed that life, so you think that am I making that worth enough? So whatever I'm doing, is my sacrifice worth enough? Right? So
Right.
you get these questions. And every time I think I just get goosebumps, thinking. My husband used to think, no, 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 you will do. You will do good in this. You will do. Just believe in yourself. Just trust
Yes.
the process.
Lovely.
Right?
Lovely.
So it's important just not trust yourself, trusting the process, right? So
Beautiful.
whatever is happening, just learn and take baby steps, right?
Beautiful.
There are
Loving
so
it.
many unfavorable situations around us. So just make a list of those unfavorable situations. What all things you think as an obstacle can hamper in your journey?
Yeah.
Mark those obstacles. Again, make a second column and just think that whether this obstacle is inside me, happening inside me because of me, or it's a societal thing which is happening,
Right.
right? So it's in your locus of control or it's somebody else's locus of control. It's a societal pressure or anything. And
Beautiful.
then think of the reasons how you can overcome that. If it's in your locus of control, then of course you have a number of reasons and ways to deal with it. If it's in
Right.
somebody else's locus of control, of course you cannot change other, but then you can change yourself, right? So
Amazing.
accept it, challenge it, and just tweak your way around. You will
Lovely.
definitely find the right path to do it, right? And follow positive affirmations. Till date, I do it, and I have seen those positive changes in me, right?
Beautiful.
If you say that I'm strong, I believe in myself, try it for 40 days, that thing will become a habit. Generally, it is said 21 days, but I call it as a 40 days because then the amount of time and, of course, that law of attraction also works in it, right?
Lovely.
So, definitely, so just do manifestation. I think somebody has written manifestation in the chat box.
Chat.
So,
Yes. Kavita.
yes. So when I say manifestation, manifestation is just not thinking about it in that positive way. You have to do it also, practices also. Just, even if you're just thinking that, okay, I will achieve, I will be this much in this amount of time, just filming yourself, only filming is not important. Right from the bottom of your heart, touch your heart and just say that, am I doing that amount of thing or all those ways that is required to achieve there or required to go there, right? Somewhere or the other down the line, you will not be doing, right? So just do it. What all things are required in that journey to achieve it. That is what is manifestation is.
Beautiful.
Just
I
not
love the way are you doing it, just not thinking it.
right, right.
Love it, love it.
So right.
So, people,
So yeah.
we are going to take some more questions, 2 to 3 more questions. Thank you, Ankita, for bringing so much of insight. And I want to say one thing to you, Ankita. आप इतनी value देते हो ना that it's like, oh my God, this entire show is overflowing with value. Thank you so much for bringing so much of value. And I love that entire, sheet that you said. Just write it on one side What are the obstacles? Is it in your control? Is it in somebody else's control? And what can you do about it? That's such a profound insight that you've given. Thank you so much, Ankita. So people, आप questions डालिए, because ये show आपके लिए है. आप questions डालेंगे तो हम चाहेंगे कि हम आपके सारे questions solve करें. So there's another question that's coming up. This says, what strategies or approach can be used by aspiring entrepreneurs to enhance their decision making abilities? For this, I'm going to call Heena. Heena, आपने अपनी conversation start की that entrepreneurship is not something that you learn in classroom, but it is something that you learn in the field. So हम आपसे ये strategies जानना चाहेंगे. How can we use some strategies and approaches that can help us in enhancing our decision making abilities?
So, I thank you for asking this wonderful question. If I talk about the strategies and approaches that needs to be used for entrepreneurs who are looking to be an entrepreneur for their decision making abilities, the first strategy that you need to use is, always I always mention that you need to make your schedule, be with your schedule. So the scheduling or making a to-do list, what I say is a day before, make a schedule that where one each hour of your 24 days, 24 hour is going, each hour is going. So I think that strategy to make a to-do list to prioritize your each hour of yours, maybe in terms of your health, in terms of your work, or maybe for your personal life balance, that is something which is very, very important. So I would say yes, you have to just be prepared for everything. And sometimes what happen is, I would say, I remember this is something which happened to me also in my house, where if some urgency came in the house and both men and women are working, husband and wife both are working professionals, and there is a need of one person to handle that emergency. So
Right.
your family member, maybe your elders, they are going to ask your, maybe the male person, your husband, they are asking, do you have anything urgent in this, or do you have any prioritized meetings which cannot be delayed, so you can tackle that situation and handle the family issue. They may or may not be asking you, beside the fact knowing you that you are also a working professional, they may not
Right.
ask you that, what are your priorities. They may just throw that work on you and say ki, ha, you have to do, because he has to do something important. Then you
Right.
have to just this is something, as women I also felt initially in my house also. Now I also made this understand by my behavior, not disrespecting anybody, just setting your priorities clear, just making everyone aware that yes, if I am 12 to 1, I am busy with Sambhav Talks at Nirupuma's show. So I am busy at Sambhav Talk at Nirupuma's show. I am not available for anybody else. So in the
Absolutely.
same way, if there is anything, maybe my husband can handle or anybody else can handle. So,
Yes.
as a
Yes.
woman, what we say is that we don't do that. We
Right.
always remain available, as Ankita also mentioned. We always remain available, and we make that habit to the family member. We give them the habit, that yes, my husband is a busy man and I am an available woman, even if I
इसको
am a
तो कभी
working
भी बोलो, ये
professional.
कर लेगी.
हाँ, इसको तो कभी भी बोलो, she is always available. So I think this, you always teach these things not by your words but by your actions.
Lovely.
That is something very important, and that strategy, I would say, as a woman entrepreneurs must be there in this, being in the audience, or maybe there are person who are looking to be the woman entrepreneurs. So follow these strategies, all the ladies, because this
Lovely.
will definitely help you both at the work front or at the family front. And yes, of course, making a schedule, prioritizing your things, and I would say, either you find a way or make a way.
Okay.
If you can find the way to do the thing, that is fine. If you are not able to find the way, make a way. You have to use that strategy, that how you can make the way to get your things done, which will
Right.
make you a business entrepreneur or a women entrepreneur maybe at a later stage. So I think that making a way or finding a way is one of the strategies that you need to definitely use as a woman entrepreneur.
Love it. Love it. Amazing. So these were some of the questions. People, if you have some more questions, I would want to incorporate that. But as we move ahead, we have a ritual at Sambhav Talks. We always ask people to end this show with your favorite one-liner, and also the biggest insight that you have got from this entire discussion. This is like the pack your bag moment. हाँ, ये मैंने attend कर लिया, आज पैसा वसूल हो गया. So audience, I want to know from you, what is your Paisa Vasool moment for today? What is that moment that you would say, this has been my biggest takeaway? Because I'm going to be announcing 3 winners at the end. So please let me know what has been your biggest takeaway as I ask my panelists that what is their Paisa Vasool moment of today and also their favorite one-liner. So let's begin with Maria. Maria, we would want to begin with you.
Yes, thank you so much, Nirupama, for this wonderful discussion. Lot of insights and lot of aha moments I had. So it's very difficult to choose one such, one liner. But yes, my all-time favorite is like, there is no such thing as failure. There's only feedback or success. So that is, something that I live by. I believe that, and that was my favorite part of today's discussion. Yeah.
Lovely. Lovely. Let's take it from Hina. Hina, what is your favorite takeaway?
So I would say, if things are not happening today, don't worry. If things are not happening tomorrow, don't worry. One day it will definitely happen. So I would say keep going, keep making your space, and be or come as a successful woman entrepreneurs.
Awesome. That was amazing one-liner. So I would want to call Ankita now. Ankita, I would want to know you. What has been your biggest takeaway?
So there's many, there's a lot of lessons and lot of takeaways from this beautiful, amazing session. But one thing, and this my favorite liner is, opportunities don't happen, you create them, right? So let it be at home, at workspace, at anywhere. So you create those opportunities. Nobody is coming to give you or to feed you with that. So just create lot of opportunities for yourself and just be successful wherever you are and just enjoy the process, right?
Uh-huh.
Success is just at the top, but then enjoy the process of living those lovely moments. Thank you.
I am loving it. I'm loving it. As Dr. Seema says in the chat, find a way or make one, which Hina had said. So I am totally in love with what Ankita just now mentioned, that opportunities are something, that you got to create. Nobody is giving that to you in a platter, but you got to be creating that for you. I am totally in love with that. Thank you, Ankita. Now let's move to Pallavi. Pallavi, what has been your biggest takeaway and your favorite one-liner?
Yeah, sure, Nirupama, thank you. So I must start that have you seen a rainbow and
Yes.
how is it made? Rainbow is a combination of two contradictions, sunlight and raindrop. Now,
Right.
both have pros and cons, but when
Right.
it's joined in the right proportion, right ratio, there is a beautiful display of colors. So that
Right.
truly applies in our life too. You have
Right.
to be mindful in associating what ratio are you going to put in your efforts of what. So that you
Right.
have to be mindful, and then the rainbow is not far off from you, it is within you. You are your own rainbow. So have faith in yourself.
Lovely. Love it. Have faith in yourself. That's the best way, to bring an end to the show. And let me just bring out some of the things that people have mentioned. Ilu says there are no excuses. Either find a way or make a way. I think this has stuck hard with people. Loving it. There are no excuses. Either find a way or make a way. Kavita Vikas says, do not make yourself available 24/7. Cannot agree much. Ankita has been repeatedly telling us, Hina has been repeatedly telling us the same, if you have told your family that we are here for Sambhav Talks from 12 to 1, then we are not available. So loving it, loving it. Thank you so much, Dr. Seema, for such amazing words. This is so fabulous. So now let me announce the 3 winners for today. The first winner that we have is Kavita Vikas. Let's congratulate Kavita Vikas, and people please put congratulations in the chat section, because this really means a lot to all of us, all the panelists and all the people who are staying here till the very end. So please make sure that you celebrate with our winners. The second winner is Kirti Kakade. She says, take decisions and make them right and believe in yourself. So we have seen Kirti participating with us throughout the show. Kirti Kakade is the second winner. So let's celebrate Kirti Kakade. And the third winner that we have is Ilu Anandi. Let's congratulate Ilu. There are no excuses. Either find a way or make a way. Fantastic. Let's congratulate Ilu for all the participation and being there with us for the entire hour and taking all the nuggets of gold. Thank you so very much, all the wonderful people out there. We are going to see you next Thursday with another show. Listen Up Girl, and we are bringing in a lot of insights about entrepreneurial journey. We have a very special guest coming out there who's going to be talking about how to build relationships, how to network with people, how to ensure that you have the right approach towards starting your entrepreneurial journey. So I'll see you next Thursday at 1:30 p.m. with our new next show, Listen Up Girl. And thank you once again for all the love, for all the participation, and thank you panelists for making this show a super success. Thank you so very much. Take care.
Thank you so much, Nirupma. Thank you so much.